Here at gameranx, like a lot of the internet, we're steeped in gaming news, and sometimes that stuff isn't official. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 video game leaks that had major consequences. Starting at number 10, a British website had to pay $1.3 million in order to make peace over a Red Dead Redemption 2 leak. Trusted Reviews posted an article back when Red Dead Redemption was in its lead-up that ended up giving a lot of details about the game, like the ability to play it all in first person, for instance. It also claimed there would be a Battle Royale mode in the multiplayer, and it sourced an internal document. Now, both of those things turned out to be real, among other aspects that were claimed, and it's not whether or not it was real that got them in trouble, it was that they posted an internal document and the information from it, and Take-Two Interactive was pissed. Now, what they did wasn't illegal, I don't think anyway. And even if it was, they didn't get in any legal trouble for it. However, they did barter a deal with Take-Two that required them to donate £1 million to charity. They apologized for it and said it would never happen again, which is, kinda not great when you consider that's basically what a journalist is supposed to do, but at the same time, gotta pay those bills. Coming in at number 9, speaking of Take-Two, they sent a couple of investigators to a YouTuber's house following a ton of Borderlands leaks. Take-Two subsidiary 2K said, "Sup, Matto," the name of the YouTuber. Not only were many of his actions illegal, but they were negatively impacting the experiences of other content creators and fans in anticipation of our game. Now, keeping in mind these were private investigators, and that no court proceedings had been initiated, he actually says he regrets talking to the investigators and giving them any information. The information he's leaked out has been, at times, accurate, meaning it's coming from somewhere. And they not only gave him copyright strikes on YouTube, which can really mess up your account, but they also got his Discord account banned, as well as the Discord that he created taken down. The automated Discord email that he got said he was involved in selling or promoting cheats, hacks, or cracked accounts, which yeah, I get it, you don't want the information out there, but it's just a guy who's trying to talk about Borderlands because he likes it. Even if it may be going a little bit too far, it's maybe kind of a unnecessary flex, you know? Moving on to number 8, a former QA contractor for Epic had a private conversation about Fortnite, specifically what was coming in Fortnite, with some other anonymous user, and that other anonymous user posted the content of that conversation to Reddit. Now, Hannah was under an NDA, meaning he was contractually obligated not to talk about the information that he, specifically talked about here. So it's pretty obvious that he's in trouble for that, but Epic sued him over this, as if he was the one who leaked the information to Reddit. Hannah is saying he leaked the information kind of as a private conversation and didn't have any control over what happened after, and where I don't necessarily agree with a massive company using their might on a single individual in this way for something they probably didn't intend to happen. I'm sure he understands exactly what's going on here, and hopefully he can make a case that he shouldn't be sued for that. Or maybe apologize, like something that Epic has forced others to do publicly in the past. Coming in at number 7, way back when there was gonna be a PS4 Slim, Sony acted for a very long time as if there was no such thing as a PS4 Slim, including after people got a hold of the console and recorded unboxing/reviews for it. I'm of course referring to Laura Kate Dale's review, which showed the console to be a real console and got the word out about the thing before Sony wanted anything to do with this being public. Now, you may think that being we're talking about large consequences, there was maybe some sort of legal consequence for this, but there actually wasn't. The big consequence is that everyone knew that there was a PlayStation 4 Slim, and Sony looked foolish just trying to act like nobody knew about it until its announcement event, which was not immediately. They tried to act like there wasn't a Slim version of the PS4 coming. There were literal video reviews of the thing before they had announced it. It made them look silly. And the fact they refused to announce it until their big announcement event made them look that much sillier. And that is a big consequence, because Sony is a big company, and it's not super easy to make a big company look silly. And moving on to number 6, a website called FBNR Leaks, run by a teenager, would put up leaked information about Fortnite. In fact, it doesn't even really seem like a particularly controversial site. However, when Epic decided to handle these leaks, what they did was say, in a cease and desist letter, that this kid was circumventing security measures Epic put in place to prevent access to copyright protected code, and distributing any technology that circumvents that, creating and distributing derivative works of Epic's protected software, and misappropriating Epic's confidential and proprietary information. To sum it up, an Epic Games spokesperson said, "The owner of this account and others promoted and advertised the sale of game modification tools which violate our terms of service, and this is not directly related to data mining or leaking." Now, that of course doesn't necessarily mean that that is true. However, it's quite possible somebody was using their popular platform as a leaker to sell cheats and mods and stuff. I'm not saying it's not possible. But the next thing you'll probably think is, but it was a kid. Epic handled that. In their letter, they said, "The fact that he is a teenager makes it no less true," which I feel is like just a weird sentence to include in your legal letter. Moving on to number 5. When Microsoft was testing the Gears of War remake, they contracted said testing out to a company called VMC. Now, in order to participate in the testing, every tester had to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. And yet, these folks were still leaking stuff from the game. Videos from the game, specifically, is what made Microsoft particularly mad. So, VMC sent out an email to their employees that contained the following. As per the agreement with the testers in fault, Microsoft has also permanently disabled their Xbox Live accounts and temporarily blocked all of their Xbox One privileges, meaning that, for a period of time, which Microsoft decides on depending on the severity of the offense, their Xbox One is entirely unusable. Now, a lot of people out there went, hold on, does Microsoft have the ability to do that? And a lot of people got pretty mad about that, actually. So mad that Microsoft issued the following statement. To be clear, if a console is suspended from Xbox Live for a violation of the terms of service, it can still be used offline. Microsoft enforcement action does not result in a console becoming unusable. Coming in at number 4, back in 2013, Sony accidentally published some files that contained Grand Theft Auto data before the release of the game. When various people mined the files for details, they found not only the main theme of the game, but also found a lot of the features that would be present in the game, and Sony had to release a statement. It said, regrettably, some people who downloaded the digital pre-order of Grand Theft Auto 5 through the PlayStation Store in Europe were able to access certain assets. These assets were posted online. We have since removed the digital pre-order file from the PlayStation Store in Europe. We sincerely apologize to Rockstar and GTA fans across the world who were exposed to the spoiler content. This is the kind of thing that you really don't want to happen ever with games. You don't really want to be able to root around in the stuff that you would be rooting around in after playing the game before you play the game. And given Sony actually had to apologize for it, we know it was big. Moving on to number 3, in October of 2003, Gabe Newell woke up to find the source code for Half-Life 2 had been leaked onto the internet. I'd bet that probably caused a panic attack. But fast forward 7 months and a guy by the name of Axel Gemby, and if I'm not saying that right, I apologize, woke up in his German hometown to police officers with automatics all pointing at him. They said the following words. You're being charged with hacking into Valve Corporation's network, stealing the video game Half-Life 2, leaking it onto the internet and causing damages in excess of $250 million. Which, when that's the very first thing you hear in a day, even if you know all of it's true, that's a hell of a sentence. Forget the guns and the cops, just imagine that was the first thing that you were told just by someone. Somebody without an assault rifle. Still pretty hefty. Now put all the assault rifles and armed police back into the picture and wowee. Now, between this moment and the actual trial, the hacker actually turned his life around. He finished an apprenticeship, and he actually got a job in the security sector, which, as somebody who hacked into Valve's network from half the world away, he probably didn't have a tough time getting work in that field. But he ended up actually only getting 2 years probation, and the reason why they gave him that was that he had a rough childhood and everything that he'd done to turn his life around in the interim. Also, Half-Life was pretty much unaffected by the leak and had sold 8 8.6 million copies by the time they had that trial. Still, I imagine for Axel Gembe that was a hell of a ride. Coming in at number 2, a leaker by the name of Sabi was announcing all of the announcements, i.e. leaking them, for Nintendo's E3 presentation this year, and was gradually dropping more and more of them throughout the week. Now, keeping in mind they weren't just Nintendo's, he was interested to find out when Nintendo actually called him up and said, hey, stop. In fact, they sent him a letter that said he was engaging in misappropriation of Nintendo trade secrets, but that's not all. The lawyer who contacted him called his house phone. And that sounds weird when you think, well, this guy was going by an alias on the internet. But he wasn't just going by an alias on the internet, he was living in a country that he wasn't a citizen in. They tracked him down to that extent. And finally, number 1, a Nintendo of America employee leaked Super Smash Bros. Stuff to YouTube, as in uploaded videos with Super Smash Bros. Ahead of release, and Nintendo was like, no copyright strike time, and just brought it right down and caused this massive debate over whether or not leaks are ethical. In fact, pretty much every single one of these had that effect. And a couple of bonus points for you really quick. Remember how I said a QA contractor earlier leaked some information on Fortnite Season 4? Well, an actual internal employee also leaked some information, and they sued him too. What's the biggest leak you can remember? Was it on this list or was it something else? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and if you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe and don't forget to click the notification bell. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.